Hey everyone, welcome to Build. I'm your host, Brittany Jones Cooper. Our first guest today is one of my all-time favorites. You likely know Regina Hall from comedies like Girls Trip and Scary Movie, and now she's starring in Support the Girls, a story about a general manager at a Hooters-like restaurant who spends one stressful day attempting to keep her restaurant and personal life from falling apart. Let's check out a clip.
My name is Lisa, I'm the general manager, and my girl just said you got a little disrespectful with her.
Oh, what?
Well, you might have thought you were just having a little fun, but I have a zero-tolerance policy on disrespect, so you're gonna have to go.
Blow me.
This is a mainstream place. Boobs, brews, and big screens.
Yeah!
Although I will say our strategy is moving, sort of away from boobs and into butts.
You're not wearing a whole lot of clothes, but it's a family place. Like working at Chili's or Applebee's, except the tips are way better.
If you know how to work it.
Notice how I open my mouth real wide when I laugh, like,
Hey! Hey! Get off the car.
It's Alexis.
What are your mainstream? Bar and grill. Please, come here, please. Come here.
she's making sick money, though.
I just need you to do your job.
There's a guy throwing up in there.
Did they just knock out my cable?
Hey!
Hello?
I'm in the vent.
What are you doing in the vent?
You losing your mind?
Just get in and go.
You're not leaving. You're married to this place.
I do love that highway sound. I close my eyes and it's like I'm at the beach.
You can just shake that thing someplace else. I'm just here for the burger and the fight.
You girls are not nearly hot enough to pull off this kind of bullshit.
You should apologize. Rule one, Lisa. No drama.
You really want me to tell a bunch of 20-year-old girls no drama?
You really think that helping someone means you get to tell them how to live their life?
I started this day off crying, so if you ask me, laughing is progress.
It makes such a difference when your boss really cares about you.
Lisa! Feel the sisterhood growing stronger.
Sisterhood, woo! You're the best and we love you!
Everyone put your hands together for Regina Hall.
Thank you.
That is an amazing trailer. I watched the film. I hadn't actually watched the trailer, and I was like, it perfectly sums up this movie that is like so heartfelt and so quirky, and also just like there's a simplicity to it too that is so relatable. Is that what kind of drew you to the script?
You know, when I first read the script, I kept thinking, I don't know if this happened when you saw the movie, that like Lisa was gonna steal something or do something. I was waiting for like a sinister kind of studio turn, and it really was. That's not what the movie is. So that did draw me to it a lot.
Yeah, even, I mean, when it opens up, you're really crying, and it's like this kind of intense, and you're like, oh, you're waiting to see kind of what that's about, and then the reveal is something very relatable, like you said, and you're like, oh, that's something everybody I know is going through, really. Their personal lives.
And it's more about the day-to-day difficulties of life. It's not a big thing. It's just the struggles, you know, that add up. You know what I mean? But that are just a part of ordinary life.
So this entire movie is set in a place called Double Whammies.
Double Whammies.
And that stands for these. Yes, double. Get it? Get it? And so what kind of preparation did you do in sort of, you play the general manager of a Double Whammies?
As you can see, I was so happy I was clothed. Because they were not. But they were such great sports. I was like, after this lunch, if I had to wear my stomach out, so it was kind of good that they got to be. They're so great too. Yeah. There's more of the girls, but these are two, Shayna and Haley Lou. I went to Twin Peaks. I did go to Twin Peaks. I went to a lot of Hooters and did some research. Yeah.
And what was the biggest thing that you noticed or saw, or that surprised you maybe?
Yeah, you know that the girls were really nice. It was really a lot nice. It was a lot more of a family place than I thought. It's a weird thing to say that, but it is like that. And then you find yourself being really comfortable, and you go back, and you just end up being a regular.
And the food is good. I mean, I don't have the most sophisticated palate.
Yeah.
I love a fried anything, and these places do it well.
Listen. Twin Peaks had some fried pickles that I had never experienced, and I was so grateful because between that and their yam fries, they had a lot of good food, some Brussels sprouts. It was just more than I had anticipated. And then by the end, I don't think I was noticing the whammies as much. You know what I mean? You do kind of get desensitized to them. You're fine.
And so, you know, this movie is coming at a time where we have the Me Too and Time's Up. There's a lot of think pieces about what feminism means and how these restaurants or places that sort of put women on display, what is their role in the feminist movement? In preparing for this movie and in doing it and talking to women, what do you think the role of these sort of restaurants is? I mean, are they a part of feminism to you?
You know, I think it's hard to look at something in one singular category, you know, and after experiencing it and going there, I don't know that I define it that way. I think really it's about changing the collective consciousness of how of how people may view us as unequal or feel entitled to certain parts of our body. And so I think as we change that, then we change our own view of how we may present ourselves at different times. And that's, you know, that's going to be, you know, progressive, you know what I mean? We're going to evolve to really understand what that means. But I mean, for me, what I noticed is that a lot of the girls were just hardworking girls and, you know, women who go to work every day and try and make a living and, you know, maintain some sort of integrity like we all do. So I think that my biggest takeaway was like, you know, that more than kind of painting these broad strokes of this group or that group, it's just the humanity in every individual. And what I loved about Lisa in this story was the backdrop was like a Hooters or, you know, was Double Whammies, but there was still a gigantic support system and a really big sisterhood. And, you know, there were things that weren't allowed even within that, you know, and I love that.
It really was a woman protecting women story with Lisa, and then also Leah Delaria, who plays Boo in Orange is the New Black. Yeah. She is one of the patrons, customers who's there all the time, and she's also protecting the women, and I love that because it shows how fierce that sisterhood can be.
Yeah, and that's what I think it's really great that in that environment, you know, and they're you know, they're smart girls, and you know, we got man cave coming, but, you know, we're trying to maintain, and I think also the love that they have for each other, how I think realizing what somebody does to make something work. You know, Cubby never quite really got what Lisa did. And so sometimes, you know, we don't get, you know, other people may not get the support system that women offer each other and what we do, but, like, we get it. And that alone is huge, you know.
Let's talk about your character, Lisa, because I really love how you presented her. You put on an accent.
I loved her wig.
I loved her wig. I did. I loved her eyeshadow. I loved her accent. So tell me about becoming Lisa. What was that process?
You know, when I read the script for the first time, I just thought she had an accent. I just didn't, I could, you know, every time I read it, it was an accent in her voice. It didn't sound like this. I don't know. I can't describe it. So then that was the accent. And then I felt like she put her own makeup on, but with her hands. You know what I mean? That she didn't do a brush. That she would, you know, and that maybe she was a little dated. You know, like maybe she didn't get the powders yet. You know what I mean? Like we're not going to matte. She was just, but that she tried. You know, you saw her at the interview. She really frosted it up.
It was underneath.
Yeah, yeah, because she wanted to do good, and you know, you've seen people like that when there's the effort. You know, it's misfired, but the effort is still, you know, the curls were tighter. I wanted you to feel that this was a woman who cared.
And she cared, and she's trying, and I think I related to her in so many ways because she's like so many women in my life where she is taking care of everyone else, but not really herself. But then you do see her trying to take care of herself, and you're like, I see you. Like, I see that effort. You know, so is that something you thought about, is just that, like, she puts so much of her life into everyone else?
Oh, definitely, and I think a lot of women do that.
Yeah.
I think most women do that. They put so much more into everyone else than themselves. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, you know, y'all can't see the shadow in this picture. I think they calmed it down. They were like, we're trying to sell the movie, not get people not to come. And her dark liner. Yeah, she wore a dark liner with no, with a pale frost in the middle.
It was very 90s. I used to use that
It was
frosted.
90.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Like you said, dated.
Yeah, they were just like a decade behind. And that's what I loved about them. You know what I mean? That they kind of, she had a lot of frost too, Shayna, that they kind of lived in this world. But it was nice, right?
Yeah. It almost felt like I was watching like a reality kind of show, because you're just following her around and she's putting out all these fires, and it feels like what we consume now is just like, this is just a day in the life, like somebody in America, like this is very accessible.
That's what it was. Yeah. It was somebody in America.
Yeah. So, you know, the premise of this sounds funny. Obviously, it's set in a double whammy, but this is a dramatic turn for you, and you're a lead. So how did that feel? Because we're used to seeing you in comedies, but we've also seen you act dramatically. But this one is really a dramatic film.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, you know, I love doing all different kinds of stuff, and this is right after Girls Trip, which is totally different kind of tone and totally different kind of mood. So I loved being able to follow that up with this kind of movie, because it's smaller and there's a stillness to it, but there's a real life to it. So I mean, it was just it was fun for me. It was fun to shoot. It was hot in Austin during the car wash scenes. It was really hot. It was humid. But it was worth it. It was worth it. It was good. It was a good time. It was the first time I'd been to Austin, so I'm looking at the picture. So it was good.
Speaking of dramatic roles, I was recently at the Blog Her conference here in New York, and the author of the book, The Hate You Give, was there, and they were talking about the movie they're making.
Angie Thomas.
Angie, yeah, Thomas. And you're in that film. And I don't know if you're familiar with the story, but it tackles just a lot of important topics, from police shootings to colorism to code switching. And so what was your thought going into that project? Because watching the trailer, it's intense, but I am so excited to see it.
You know, I read the book, and the director and I had talked about it, and it is intense. Mm-hmm. It is intense, but it's powerful. And it's not about blaming one group or saying, or, you know, it's not about blaming one group or vilifying one group and deifying another. It really is just like, okay, this is what it is. This is the problem. What do we, you know, this is the problem. We collectively are the solution. You know, we have to live up to that. How we get there are a bunch of ways, but it really starts with each of us ourselves, how we look at things, how we reflect. So I hope people go out and support it, because it's such, I mean, I think George did a great job. Amanda Steinberg, who is a baby, like 19, she blows it away. I mean, she's so like wise and powerful beyond her years. Russell Hornsby. I mean, it's a great cast. And when I watched it, I was like, oof, you know, and it's weird to be in something and then watch it and you're like, oh, because, you know, you never know what it's going to be, because you're kind of shooting segments, and, you know, in a movie, it's not in order. So it's not like doing a play. So to see it come together and really like have it resonate that much, you know, I'm so excited for people to see it.
I think it's going to be
If you don't like it, don't leave no comments on my page talking about you said no. But I think people are going to really respond to it.
Is that something that you look for in projects, something that's going to have a kind of an impact or has a message?
No. No.
There. All right.
I just look to see if I like it, if I respond, if it's a fun character who's in it. I know. I should have said yes, absolutely. I didn't want to lie, though. No, but you know what? Oftentimes the things that affect me affect other people, too. So that part is good. Yeah.
And you were just speaking so positively of Amanda, and I've seen that a lot with you. And as such a big fan of yours and so many other Black women in Hollywood, my favorite thing to see is how much you lift each other up and support each other and promote each other's work. So how has those relationships impacted your experience in Hollywood? Because I would imagine it just feels nice to kind of have this support.
It's great. You know, it's great. There's a lot of, you know, there's always story. I always hear stories like, oh, is it this, is it that? But there's so much support, and I've met so many amazing women who've been so supportive of me, and it's a great thing to be able to, you know, to be able to cheer on or like be happy for, or, you know, if I don't get something and then a friend of mine gets it and I'm like, whore, I really wanted it. But, you know, I get to be excited that they got it, you know, and that's like great. And there are those times where, you know, I've wanted something and I've been like, you know, but I can still be happy, you know what I mean? And that feels really good because I know they're going to be amazing, and vice versa. So it's a good time, and it's a lot of there's so many so many people working. You know what I mean? And soaring, to just different heights, and new talent coming in, and they're doing like incredible. I mean, we've got.
Issa is the first one that jumps out to me.
Oh,
And
yeah.
your guys' friendship, I love watching on social media.
Yeah.
You like doing videos back and forth, and then obviously Due North.
Oh yeah,
was like the craziest.
It was so weird. Issa and I have been trying to work together for a long time. We were pitching something, and everybody said no. This is pre-Insecure. They probably are like, "Dag, we should have said yes." But so we were writing, and then she did Insecure, and then my agent called me and said, "We've got a script," and I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yeah, we got an offer from you for Insecure," and I was like, "Oh, Issa's probably going to want me to play a friend or coworker." For sure. I just wonder what, am I going to be like a love interest? I just thought something. And then, my agent is like, so the role is Ninny? I was like, Ninny, she's a slave? I was like, wait a minute. What? And then
Are we still in Inglewood? What happened?
Yeah. And then I read it and realized it was a show they watched, and I thought it was funny, and I love Scott Foley, so I was like, yeah, let's go have fun. So it's like I didn't get to work with her directly, but it was still fun.
It was such a breakout though from that season, and obviously I'm excited season 3, and they have a new show within a show, but I needed to see what happened.
Yeah, we got to see their new show within a show. I'm gonna have to put some comments like, I'm gonna put the little eyeballs on there, and let Issa know if I like their show within the show. No, I don't like it.
You just can't beat lines like, I hate slavery.
Oh my gosh. When we shot that, it was hard to keep a straight face. The fight at the end, like that, I hate slavery line. We were nervous though. I was like, either people are gonna be like, they are so wrong for this, or they're gonna get it and laugh. So
it was both for me. I was like, I'm happy that they did this. It's so wrong, but it's so good.
Yeah, I was so excited for the clothes.
Yeah, and speaking of that, like sisterhood, obviously we got to talk about Girls Trip a little bit. Where's the Flossie Posse? When are we gonna see you guys again?
I know the Flossie Posse we're trying to put it back together, and hopefully. But we are working on a Girls Trip too. Yeah. We will be, yeah.
That's what I wanted to hear. That's why I asked the question.
It's early. Y'all go clap slow. But yeah, we're trying to figure it out for sure.
Yeah, you guys are all incredibly busy, I'm sure, and it's just probably hard to find the time.
But we had so much fun shooting it. Well, it's that, and you got to have a script that, you know what I mean? We can't just, throw out anything. So, like, what are the circumstances? Why are they back together? What are they... You know what I mean? Not why are they back together, but why are you seeing them together? So I have some ideas. Everybody has some ideas, and they're good. There's some good things.
So we've seen you be so versatile. You've done, Scary Movie to Love and Basketball. Guys, give it up for Love and Basketball. That's all-time favorite.
Shout out to Sana.
Yeah. Who's, I think, going to come here soon. So
I like
I'm excited to chat with her.
for Napoli Ever After. That's going to be a
that
great project.
The trailer for that was just like,
yeah.
Oof.
So it was. She was actually in Atlanta shooting that while I was shooting Hate You Give.
Oh, right.
And we were in the same building, like we were right there. So she was exhausted and bald, by the middle, and like she shaved her head, and it was like, it's gonna. Y'all think y'all are gonna really enjoy it.
Yeah. The trailer was incredibly moving for many different reasons.
Yeah, right?
It really was.
'Cause I'm sitting here with a wig on talking about love yourself. Love yourself.
Me too.
I know. No, but we take it off. And I love my wigs. I have so many wigs. They have names. I have different colors. I was like, should I go dark for them or am I going light? I really do. I think, I'm like, what length?
I like it. It's like an accessory.
It's like an accessory.
Well, you look beautiful today.
Thank you. It was almost the other one. It was almost Caroline, but this one made it out. But I love it. And I'm just loving all the things women are doing with their hair. Yeah. It's looking beautiful.
I cannot tell you, I grew up in Nebraska,
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so just seeing.
There's not a lot of black people there, huh?
There's me.
Gabrielle was in. She was
Gabrielle Union,
Gabrielle.
yeah, it's like
Right.
our, believe me.
Yeah.
I
So
clung-
you're gonna get a street
I clung to
soon.
Gabrielle. I was like, geez, there's one of us.
No,
Yeah,
you're
for
gonna
sure.
get a street or a
Yeah.
park. Doesn't Gabrielle have like something was named after her?
There's a lot, yeah, and then like
Yeah.
everybody just loves her. 'Cause,
Yeah.
Nobody comes.
They're
from
like,
Omaha.
look, our black.
Yeah. Well, but Malcolm
Our
X
other
was born
black.
in Omaha, though.
Okay.
So we got Malcolm X too.
Okay.
Same.
So that's 3. Those are, and y'all are 3. That's a.
That's a strong 3.
That's a strong
That's
3.
a strong 3
That's a
from
strong
Omaha,
3,
Nebraska.
yeah. I'm from D.C. It's so many of us. You can't even. You're just like, there's so many. When I grew up, it was Chocolate City.
Yeah, I wish. Before we go to audience questions, because I know they have some questions for you.
My shoes. Thank you.
Ooh.
I'm
Very
so in love
Sex in
with
the
my
City,
shoes.
actually.
You know what? Let me just say this. So I was just shooting Little, and we just wrapped with Issa Rae, and a Little, and so we had like black designers, and everybody was, and so this shoe I wore it in a scene, and I said, "Oh, I love this shoe. Is it a shoe, or is it a slipper?" And they said it's a shoe, and it's a black designer because most of the designers that we used are black, that we had in the like if you saw something hanging up. We wore everybody. But anyway, so I loved these shoes, and they were like, if you want them, and I was like, if I want them, and then they were like, ask a producer, can you take them? And I was like, I'm gonna ask me, and then I said yes, and then I took them, and then I just had them, and I was like, where am I ever gonna wear these shoes? And then I had this shirt, and I was like, I'm wearing my red shoes with my. It was. I was waiting for today.
It was meant to be.
To bust them out, and they're comfortable.
And can I borrow them?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. What size?
It's probably too big.
Okay.
We'll talk about that off camera. I don't want to put my shoe size out there.
Okay. I get it. No.
Yeah.
6.5. Go ahead.
Oh, for real? Oh, we could never.
No.
Oh,
I was 6.
Oh,
I was giving you a 6.5.
Oh, girl, we're in a completely different ball game here. I was gonna say before we go, what would be your dream role? Because I love seeing your versatility and all the things that you're doing.
I don't know. A lot of people ask me that. I don't know that I don't know. I just, anything that comes that is like a challenge and different, I love, but I don't know. Because, if you would have said, what's your dream movie, what's your dream comedy, I probably wouldn't have thought about Girls Trip. Yeah. Me and 3 friends talking about Dick's New Orleans. And then it's like, oh, I loved it. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, I don't know. But, I always love something that really, really illustrates, people.
And not knowing keeps you really open, probably.
Yeah.
And you just get to choose projects that you feel connected to.
Connected to.
Yeah, that's really cool. All right, guys, it's your turn. Who has the first question? Oh, right there.
Hi. You kind of touched on this already, but I wanted to know what your response is to people who say restaurants harm the feminist movement. Like, what would you say to those people?
I wouldn't say that. And I'll tell you why. More than anything is because people work there, and those people are women. And I think anytime we talk negatively about another woman, that harms the feminist movement. And so, life has different stages and phases. A lot of those girls are early, young 20s. They want to make great tips, you know what I mean? And they do it with a lot of pride. They come to work every day. They leave work every day. And so, I think the biggest part of the feminist movement is support of one another. And, unless we can provide other opportunities that help people, survive, then, I say thank you to anyone who serves, us anywhere. That's my opinion.
And as the movie shows, these women are mothers.
Yeah, they're mothers.
They have stuff going on at home,
exactly.
and they're just trying to work.
They're just trying to work, and it's very. And when you get to know them, and you get to know people who have dreams and aspirations, I think it's so, Listen, I was 22 and went to apply to Gentlemen's Club to work, not as a stripper, but as a waitress, and didn't get the job. And I don't know how I felt about it. I was like, did y'all say no? Like me and my roommate. I don't know what. We didn't, You got to dress. You got to wear clothes as the gentleman. I don't know why they say Gentlemen's Club. It's not very gentlemanly, but.
They're just trying to class it up.
They had waitresses, but we didn't get it. I mean, maybe life would have been different. But that's a different kind of thing, The other restaurants are very different.
Next question.
Hi, Regina.
Hi.
I know actors try to find a connection between themselves and the character. What were some of the similarities and differences between you and this character?
I think with Lisa, what I resonated with was her hopefulness. I always felt like she maintained a sense of hope. And she was naive a bit, too, you know what I mean? Even with stuff going on in her own restaurant. And she had a really forgiving heart, even with Arturo. I just think there was something about her that always just wanted. She had a kindness, you know what I mean? I like to think that I have that, at least, half the time. And I just resonated with her desire to make wherever she was great, to see the brightest side of her life and her circumstance.
Thanks for your question. Who's next? Yeah.
Hi, I'm Shantae. What do you think is your biggest accomplishment for today?
No one's going to agree, and I'm not going to get all emotional, but I was a wonderful mother to my dog. And he passed away. But that was probably the biggest thing.
That's really sweet. That's really, really sweet. What's his name? What was his name?
His name was Zeus.
Zeus. I had a dog named Zeus growing up.
Yeah.
I did. Yeah. All right. One more?
Over here. Hi, Regina. How are you?
Hello.
Hi. I just noticed like your personality is just so energetic and charismatic, and I just want to know
Crack.
like. You're welcome. What
Crack
was?
cocaine.
Oh no!
I'm joking. I'm joking. Yeah, lots of drugs.
Yeah, I just wanted to know what was one of the most memorable or like funniest experiences that you had on set like recently.
You know what? Issa and I just had a lot of fun on Little. We really did. I think we made some videos. You guys will see. But I had a lot of, you know what? Tiffany kept us in stitches on Girls Trip. So did Jada. Behind the scene. I don't know. Like all of the kind of every time you work, there's just some stuff that's going on that never makes it to camera. I'm gonna start recording it. This is gonna be my blackmail material. That's always really, really. I'm like literally like this is almost becoming offensive. That's close as I have it to my mouth. Let me pull it down.
Lipstick on it?
Not yet. No, I shouldn't have said not yet. Like it's coming. No. But yeah, just little stuff. We had a rooftop. Oh, you know what? It's so great. In Little, we had a dance. And I was like always behind the monitors, like watching on the days I wasn't shooting, right? Watching, giving notes, whatever. So this particular day, Luke James was in it, and he was doing a dance. I get to do a little strip dance. And I was like, I think I need to, as a producer, I think I should be there. I feel stuck behind this monitor. And they were like, Regina, we haven't seen you this close up. And that was fun. And Lisa and Issa got on me really bad. I was like really bad about it. But then like everybody was out. Scripty was out trying to give notes. I was like, I've been screaming line for like 2 weeks and haven't seen you. So just those kinds of moments behind the scenes are really fun.
And just for clarity,
objectifying men like we should in this new Me Too movement. Mm-hmm.
Just to clarify, Little is like the remake of Big, right? The Tom Hanks movie. It's kind of pulled from.
It's in that vein. It's pulled from that idea.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
I just read about that today. I'm really excited about.
Yeah, it's cute. It's very cute.
Well, you've got a lot of amazing projects you're working on, but Support the Girls is coming out first. It's coming out on August 24th. Guys, I watched it. It is sweet. It is relatable. And Regina is amazing in it. Give it up for Regina. Thank you so much for joining us today.